whatever you think you know about Michael Jackson as a father, set it aside for a minute, because when you actually look at the accounts from the people who were closest to that family, the picture that emerges is one of a man who was genuinely, deeply devoted to his three children in a way that surprised even some of his harshest critics. Official records provide the clearest outline of Michael Jackson's family life, cutting through speculation and rumor. His first child, Prince Michael Jackson, was born on February 13th, 1997 in Los Angeles. The California birth certificate lists Michael Joseph Jackson as the father and Debbie Rowe as the mother, a detail confirmed by hospital press releases at the time. Less than 14 months later, on April 3, 1998, Paris Michael Catherine Jackson arrived. Her birth was again documented in Los Angeles, with the same parents named on the certificate and a formal announcement issued by the hospital. The youngest, Prince Michael Jackson II, was born on February 21, 2002. His birth certificate, filed in California, lists Michael as the legal father but does not name a mother, reflecting his birth via surrogacy. In later years, he chose the name Bigi, though he was known for much of his childhood as Blanket. Each child's legal identity was established from the start, with their names and birth dates anchored in state records and mirrored in contemporaneous news reports. These documents not only confirm the children's existence and parentage, but also serve as fixed points in a story so often clouded by myth. The paperwork signals more than celebrity. Each birth marked a private milestone for Michael Jackson, who behind the headlines was determined to build a family on his own terms. These records set the stage for the quieter, everyday moments that unfolded within the Jackson household, away from the world's constant gaze. Mornings at Neverland began with the sound of Michael Jackson singing a gentle good morning song, a ritual described by longtime nanny Grace Roaramba. Each child, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, who would later choose the name Bigi, gathered in the dining hall for breakfast, their plates arranged with care. Michael led the meal, turning the start of the day into a moment of togetherness. After breakfast, the children followed a set routine. Tutors arrived promptly, guiding lessons in reading, math, and languages. Michael often sat in on these sessions, adding his own spin with music lessons and creative projects. Paris remembers that he would sit with me on the couch and read stories before bedtime. It was one of the few times I felt like a normal kid, you know? Learning was not confined to textbooks. Wednesdays brought art and storytelling, with Michael directing impromptu plays and musical numbers. Former butler Robert Henderson kept diaries of these days, noting the blend of structure and freedom. The children explored the grounds in costume, embarking on fantasy quests through the trees, while Michael spun tales of knights and heroes. Staff recall his hands-on approach, checking homework, offering encouragement, and insisting on family dinners where everyone shared stories from the day. Paris later spoke about the sense of adventure her father brought to ordinary moments. She remembered that he would take them on trips, sometimes to the beach, sometimes just a quick drive to the grocery store, to make it feel like any other family. These routines, both grand and simple, shaped a private world where Michael tried to give his children the security and joy he felt fame had denied him. By late 1999, Michael Jackson faced a challenge few parents could imagine: how to shield his children from a world that never stopped watching. After a surge in media interest sparked by the documentary Living in the Shadow, his security advisors and stylists began drafting what became known inside the household as the Mask and Veil Protocol. The plan was not improvised. Security briefings from that period outline a formal policy. Anytime Prince, Paris, or Blanket, later known as Bigi, stepped into a public setting, their faces would be covered. The first design sketches came from Kylie G. Miller, a stylist who worked closely with the family to create veils and masks that were both comfortable and hard to pierce with a cameraless. Materials range from silk blends to lightweight polymers chosen to keep the children from hiding their features. The rationale was clear in internal memos: prevent facial identification, reduce the risk of kidnapping, and preserve the children's right to anonymity. John R. McClane,
the estate security circle, working with legal advisors to ensure the protocol would not violate child protection laws. The team mapped out 3 risk levels: major public events, travel hubs, and everyday outings, each with its own level of concealment. By early 2000, the first real-world test took place in Frankfurt, where Prince and Paris were escorted backstage at a concert, veiled and flanked by bodyguards. The experiment worked. Paparazzi photos captured only silhouettes, and the children's faces stayed out of the headlights. For Michael, the protocol was more than a barrier against cameras. It was an engineered attempt to give his children a piece of the privacy he never had.
Shortly after 2 in the afternoon on November 19th, 2002, the quiet of Berlin's Hotel Adlon was broken by a commotion outside Suite 210. Michael Jackson had arrived with his children and a handful of trusted staff, including bodyguard Dave Rogers. Inside, the mood was calm until a call from a reporter reached the suite asking for a glimpse of Michael's youngest son. Minutes later, at 2:18 in the afternoon local time, Michael stepped out onto the balcony holding 9-month-old Prince Michael Jackson II, known then as Blanket and later as Bigi. He lifted the infant with one arm, a towel draped over the child's face. Cameras flashed from the street and from the hotel corridor. Security rushed forward, urging Michael to bring the baby back inside. The entire episode lasted less than a minute, but the image, Michael on the balcony with his child shielded by a towel, circulated within hours across news wires and television screens worldwide. The reaction was immediate and unforgiving. German tabloids ran headlines accusing him of reckless endangerment. International networks replayed the footage on a loop, dissecting every frame. Inside the suite, Michael was shaken. According to the hotel's incident log, he apologized to his staff and to his children, repeating that it had been a terrible mistake. That phrase echoed days later in a televised statement on ARD, where Michael said plainly, "I made a terrible mistake, and I'm sorry for every moment that hurt my children." The fallout was swift. Legal counsel for the Jackson estate fired off cease and desist letters to media outlets, while the family's crisis team drafted statements clarifying that no child was harmed and that the moment was a lapse in judgment, not a pattern. For Michael, the incident cut deep. The balcony photo became a single, indelible image, one that overrode years of careful protection and reshaped the public's view of his parenting in an instant. Michael Jackson's death on June 25, 2009 brought a swift response from the Los Angeles Superior Court. Within days, the probate division moved to ensure the well-being of his 3 children: Prince, born February 13, 1997, Paris, born April 3, 1998, and Prince Michael Jackson II, known as Blanket and later as Bigi, born February 21, 2002. The court first issued a temporary guardianship order, placing the children in the care of their grandmother, Catherine Jackson. This arrangement reflected both Michael Jackson's wishes as outlined in his will and Catherine Jackson's role as a steady presence throughout their lives. By September 23, 2009, the legal process reached its final step. In case number C09305, the Superior Court entered a permanent guardianship order. The language was clear and direct. Catherine Jackson was appointed as the permanent legal guardian of Prince Paris and Bigi. The certified copy of this order on file with the court carries the judge's signature and the official seal, anchoring the children's future to their grandmother's care. This decision provided a stable framework for their upbringing, confirming in law what had already begun in practice, a transition from the chaos of sudden loss to the protection of family. The court's action closed one chapter and quietly set the foundation for the children's next steps, each of them carrying their father's legacy forward under Catherine Jackson's watchful eye. As they moved beyond the shadow of Neverland and their father's death, each of Michael Jackson's children charted a distinct path. Paris Jackson, born in 1998, stepped into the public eye not just as Michael's daughter, but as an artist and advocate. She's spoken openly about her struggles in recovery, channeling her experiences into music, acting, and activism for LGBTQ+ rights and mental health awareness. Prince Jackson, born in 1997, focused on education, earning a business degree from the University of Southern California in 2019. He's since worked in digital media and launched projects aimed at philanthropy and environmental causes, often referencing the values his father instilled. The youngest, Bigi, born Prince Michael Jackson II in 2002 and once known as Blanket, has kept a lower profile. In a rare 2022 interview, he described his love for filmmaking and music, emphasizing a desire to honor his father's legacy while forging his own identity. Each sibling, in their own way, reflects both the weight and the freedom of Michael's influence, carrying pieces of his world into their adulthood. Today, Prince, Paris, and Bigi each shape their own lives under a spotlight they never chose. As public fascination endures, their stories remind us that behind every headline is a private reality, one still defined by a father's devotion and the ongoing challenge of protecting what matters most.